How we doing out there? I'm serving the Most High. I was kind of minding my own business when Pharmacie come through. I know they don't like me much, and I don't care much for them either. The point of what I say about mental health and about what they're doing, about the prison system, about what they're doing, trying to add more mental health programs. All it is just a way to steal the money so they don't have to take care of the people out in the real world. That's all it is. Uh, the point of believing what they're trying to push, there's nothing behind it. I understand it very well. I had an uncle that had a form of mental health, but he was completely to the point of incapacitated on partially of everything he's doing. But that's mental health. The rest of it is just fear and trauma. And they know that. The psychologists always said were the biggest witches there were because they can keep you spun up for years. But they have a license to keep you spun up. And they gotta, they can make as much money off of you as they want to. This is all has to do with mammon, okay? Keeping you pushed down and making you believe something other than the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I don't doubt the Father 1 second, not after what I've been through. The flesh is always going to try to come back around to try to turn your head. That's Satan. And the thing about it is, these people think that they got to have all these monies, mammon, and they don't understand. Well, they do very well understand what they're doing, all the way up to the Freemasons. They do understand what they're doing. They've been told, and they walk in that life, okay? And the Father doesn't want it anymore. And the thing about it is that He wants His children to come home, to spend time with Him, spend time in His Word, to understand that your God is more powerful than anything they got going on or ever will have going on. He created all this. Everything that's here is His, that was given to us to enjoy. I go back to the same adages every time, no matter what. A lizard, a snake, a chicken, an alligator, they want for nothing. Why is that? Does that make any sense to you? Why is it that the Father would supply the animals for all what they would need, but what He supplies us with strife and hard work and labor to be completely out of sorts all the time? He put us to labor, but to labor for ourselves. He put us to labor to help other people. He put us to labor to prosper. Not to be out of sorts to have to do these things. Yes, we'll live by the sweat of our brow, but you understand that when I grew up, I understand what the sweat of the brow was. I watched the ladies and the gentlemen. The gentlemen would put in the garden, and the ladies would tend to it. And any work that was done that's hard work was the gentleman's work. And the ladies done the picking and all the things. That was a labor because he knew that when you learn how to grow everything you got, you're taken care of yourselves. Then you decide to step out and buy a house, or you decide to step out and do things. Well, usually you've done that with the person, the man that owned the property, the man that owned the house, and y'all made an agreement to make payments in however this was. But they don't want you to realize that. They want you to realize that you're financing everything, you're doing everything that you possibly can. And maybe you did back in the day. Back in the day, if we borrowed money, you know, you got to remember, I've seen it when regular loans were 17, 18%. And you still had plenty left. You know, a house payment would be $80, $100 a month. And this was on 10 years, not on 30 or 50 or 100. You bought a car back in the day, run you, some of them brand new, you know, $800, $8,000. That was a Cadillac now. Rest of them run you about $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. But you got to really understand that how all this has played out to this point. Pharmacie, insurance, they just keep raising the price because it's the multitude of the people. And they think that, you know, it's just like this. You pay for something, then you got 3 or 4 different service charges on there. You got to understand, they built a business that is 100% profitable to them. And they take all the tax money, which they add their tax money into yours and the overhead, but they take the write-off of the spoils, which any good businessman does. But you got to understand that you're carrying the burden from when you deposit your money, because it's another debt. You're paying somebody else's debt, and they're using that $9 out of your 10 to finance more debt. Compounded. And I say there's 130 something trillion dollars in debt. I think it's more like 500 trillion. But nobody will ever tell you the truth. But understand, you know, spending time with the Father, learning to be with Him, and learning the Word, the true Word. And He's going to give it to you. You seek and you will find. And the thing about it is, you get your inheritance woke up and you see what I see. And you go, I didn't think it was this way. You always thought that there was always something you had to do to perform out here in the real world to make it all happen. Well, there is. We all work in ways. But the thing about it is that you're provided for in all ways. Gifts and blessings. You take it to the Father and say, Father, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that. And somehow it just comes into fruition. And most people, you know, they think that they got to do it themselves. And let me tell you something. I was the world's worst, okay? All my life I provided for everybody in every way, shape, fashion, and form. I'd go out and slay the dragon every day just to help somebody. And then I finally figured out the Father put me through everything He did. Look here, I wait upon the Father. The next thing that comes through, the next thing that's going to happen. And I wait upon the Father. And that's what I'm doing today. And I know I've got a lot of things on the fire. It hasn't burnt yet. The Father will make it all happen. But anyways, understand how this is working, people. Pharmacies, insurance, governments, you got to really take it back to community. You got to talk with your people. You got to be of like mind to bring this back to where it was at. Because you're never going to have anything. You're just always going to work in strife, just like Pharaoh had the Egyptians working for him. They were slaves. Anyhow, thought I'd shoot this out there. I'll be back on tonight. I am Servant 777. Twitch, 8 p.m. Oklahoma time. Anyways, the Father loves you. I love you very much. I am a servant of the Most High. And y'all have a wonderful day. Help somebody. Be good to somebody. Show a little kindness. Your next door neighbor still kind of saying something, run over and give him a great big old hug. Probably throw you in jail. But anyways, be good. Y'all take care. I'm a servant. Most High.